Hello, YouTube drummers. Hi, I'm Tim Metz, and welcome to my channel. Sorry, I was trying to do too many things at once. It got a little clunky. How are you guys today? Welcome to the live stream. Sorry, it's on a Thursday today instead of a Wednesday. I actually had a student during my normal live stream time yesterday, so I wanted to switch it over to Thursday. Blah, blah, blah. Scheduling. That's just how it's going to work. I hope you guys are having a great day. In the comments section, let me know, or in the chat, let me know where you guys are from. I see a couple of guys on there already. Let me switch back over to it. Saw Marcus and Wago Records. Good to see you guys. Let me know where you guys are from. I'm going to Sacramento. Who is that? Central Valley. That's definitely somebody I know. I don't know who you are. Who are you, Central Valley? I'm gonna just play some drums really quick, and then I don't know. Wait for some people to come on and see how we're doing, and then if you guys want to ask Connecticut, Portland, yeah, Portland's great. It's a little crazy there right now, though. Eli, what's up, Eli? Hey, good to see you, man. Arkansas, wow. Oh, man. Thank you, Penn. That's very nice. Metro Detroit, that's awesome. Arkansas, actually, I've been thinking about, probably like everybody else, moving to Northwest Arkansas lately. But, yeah. So, anyway, wife and I are just kind of looking at Realtor all the time and just kind of checking stuff out. And just something about being in California these days. I'd rather maybe somewhere less California. But don't tell anybody. Okay. I'm going to play some drums, and then if you guys have questions, just ask away. I was thinking I might go over some of the stuff that happened last week, because the last week's stream got a little strange, just with technical difficulties. So if you guys want, I can probably kind of recapture what I was talking about and redo some of the stuff that we were trying to do last week with the rudiment ritual and how I go about teaching it. So. Georgia, hey Georgia. All right. So I'm going to play some drums and then see how we do. All right. Oh, yeah. Watch this. All right. All right, let's get back over to this one. So let me check, see how that's going. Yeah, I was just playing some stuff here. So, all right. Parking lot on the Alta Arden. Hey, Jesus, what's up, man? That's crazy. Georgia, all right. Yeah. Commander Alpaca, thank you. Thank you for saying hi. All right, Billy, what's going on? Thank you, Dr. Ummer. That's another one that cracks me up every time. I really appreciate you. I love your name. It's so funny. Drummer, for those of you that might not know. Anybody have any questions or anything like that? Oh, somebody asked earlier, Pan, sorry. Thank you, I'm very good. How are you? I'm making it. What bands do I play in now? I love your drumming game. Thank you so much. I don't play in any bands right now. Unlike probably the rest of the world or something right now. I don't. California is pretty shut down still, at least where I live. And to be honest, I'm not going out and playing that much right now because A, there aren't any real gigs, and B, I rely on my elderly parents really to help take care of some kids. So I have not. Haven't really been out much. So getting to do this is kind of like my gig. So you guys are my gig. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you all being here. So yeah. Let's see. But if I should say that I do play with my friend Jacob Manrix on occasion. We haven't done anything since November, but that would be something that I return to doing. Play with Dr. Joe Gilman a bit when he's when there are gigs, and then there's the Cunha Big Band, which is the local big band here, and then I also play with the Santa Rosa Symphony when the symphony pops when that comes around. So yeah. Anyway, so can you please talk about what role does your bass drum and your snare drum play over the ride? I think you mean the right pattern, right, Eli? Can you please talk about the role your bass drum and your snare drum play over the ride pattern? Well, okay, so a couple of things about what you just said. I don't consider it over the ride pattern. The ride pattern itself is not exactly something that I would consider to be a thing. It depends based on the song and what you're playing. So what you're playing is based on the music that's playing around. So I try and I base everything more around what my ride cymbal is playing than what my bass drum and snare drum are playing. So my bass drum is supportive. Like, I like to feather a lot. So I'll be feathering the bass drum when I'm playing. And when I feather, I'm just trying to play as light as possible. So like in that scenario there, I was feathering until I wasn't feathering and used it as a comping roll. For my snare drum, it depends also on the situation. Obviously, it's a comping situation. So my left hand, my snare drum will be playing, and I'll probably be playing stuff in conjunction with the bass drum. So comping wise, so supportive, right? Let's see. What's my favorite album as a sideman? The sideman that I'm on, probably, I guess the Joe Mazzaferro's album, In Terms Of, is an album that I'm proud of and really stoked to have been on. Carl Allen is the other drummer on that one, so I guess we're in pretty good company. But I particularly love it because on that album, I'm sharing the album with a friend of mine who just passed away, Jeff Clayton, who, if you've heard of the Clayton Hamilton Orchestra, he's the alto saxophone player. Jeff Clayton, he's one of the Clayton brothers. He just passed away last month, and yeah, miss him. But I'm really, really fortunate that I got to play with him a bit and got to be on record with him. So that's probably my favorite one as a sideman. How should I put together 2018-14 cymbals pitch characteristics? Use your ear, Julian. Just use your ear, whatever you like the best. Try and listen to them if there's a set that it's available. If there's a set that's available, then that you can check out all at once, then that would be what you're looking for. For me, I didn't get to choose these necessarily. I didn't run into a shop and buy these. This is just how they came, and this is how I like them. These are both 20s and 14-inch hi-hats, little undersized. So this is like 19 3/4. You know, these are the old cymbals. So close to 20 and close to 14, not quite, right? So yeah. So what the deal with this? There's a pitch relationship. These cymbals just seem to, I got really lucky. I feel like they sound really good together, and I like them a lot. They're fun. They're great sounding cymbals. So yeah, as far as pitch relationship, it's just whatever you like, whatever you don't get tired of, and whatever I don't know, however you like it. I like thinner cymbals, generally speaking. These are probably in the 1,700 gram weight range, and that helps a bunch. Marcus, I think you had well, I don't think I know. You had a question about cymbals too, so we'll talk about that for sure. Let's see. Pan, I have not heard of Gustav Brahms' Big Band Orchestra. No, I haven't. That's crazy. Yeah, no. Chris Russell, why nylon tips instead of wood? And for me, it's clarity. I kind of talked about this a little while ago. I have another cymbal where my old sticks that I used to use a lot were the Modern Jazz Collection 4s, which have a barrel wood tip. And they sound good. But I found that like after a little while, they started to get, the sound on the cymbal started to get a little mushy. So check this out. So that's my answer right there. I feel like if you can hear that, right, there's a difference between just how clear your beat is with the nylon tips versus how clear it is with the wood tips. So some nylon tips offend me. I don't like them all. These are the 8DNs from Vic Firth, and I find that I really like these. I think they sound close enough to wood, but they retain some of they have the attack of nylon. They're not like super offensive, and they don't cause too much of the cymbal to get overwhelming or weird. So I also like these. I never thought I was going to like thinner drumsticks, but here I am. I love it. I love these thinner drumsticks. So yeah. So I feel like it added a lot of clarity to what I'm doing, Kyle. Yeah. Yeah. It is pretty night and day, right? So there is a big difference between the two. I feel like there's just so much more clarity, and yeah, it makes so much more sense to me because, I mean, a lot of our beat is coming from the ride cymbal, right? So if your ride cymbal pattern is getting mushy, then that's a tough one. So you really want to make sure that you're being as clear as possible when you're playing. That's actually something that I learned from Jeff Clayton too. Is like he was always talking about clarity and being clear in your playing. So I do always strive to be as clear as I possibly can be. And so the nylon tips help me achieve that. Before we go any further, just wanted to mention that I do offer Zoom lessons. If any of you guys are interested in Zoom lessons, there's a link below. Also, super chats are super appreciated. Sorry for the double supers. But super chats, just, man, I don't know, I just love seeing the little thing come up, and it's just like so neat that you guys support me like that. So I really appreciate them, and yeah, so super chats and Zoom lessons if you guys are interested. So back to the questions. So Marcus, yeah, he was sick for a long time, so that's it's too bad. And comping when you're. So Eli, how do you practice feather? Oh, sorry, I'm skipping things. Pan, do you prefer 20 or 22-inch ride cymbals? That's a great question. I don't have a preference necessarily. My friend who's on here, hopefully still, Jesus Vega, he's a great drummer that lives in Germany. And I don't know, he's kind of hit me to the 20s because he's younger than I am, but he was like, man, my back's hurting from carrying these 22s around all the time. And I was like, man, you're right. So so I started on a quest to find some 20s that sounded kind of like 22s. I love these cymbals. These are kind of my favorite cymbals. I find that I'm spending a lot more time with 20-inch cymbals these days than I am with 22s. I have a bunch of 22s. I have like 10 or 15 22s, but I don't know. I just like, especially for the small group stuff, I like the smaller cymbals. They react faster. They don't occupy as much space sometimes, so they just sound good, you know? So, I mean, you check this out. Let me pull up a 22. So that's a 20-inch okay. Here's a 22-inch new stamp from right around the same time. It's about 2,500 grams. It's a little heavier. But you'll hear the difference. I like it. I like the 22s, but they're big, you know. I have a couple other ones. So 22, my Sabian Artisan that you probably all know from my videos. I really like this cymbal too. It's great. I would say as far as the 22 is concerned, it's probably a really easy 22 to play. You know, it's kind of light. It's about 2,300 grams ish. So, you know, I'll play it. So yeah, that's a great cymbal. I love it. But you know, being a 22, it's a little bit bigger. You know, it weighs more than a 20. You know, I'd say this one in particular isn't necessarily a bigger sounding cymbal. It's just that you know, it's a bigger cymbal in general. You know, obviously size wise. So, whoa, the chats are coming in, you guys. I love it. All right. So, how do you practice? So, yeah, anyway, going back, I mean, like, it just depends. I love 22s, but I also, like, I guess I'm just on a 20 kick. So, there you go. Eli, how do I practice feathering and comping when you're playing that swang? Yeah, you learn independence through things like just practicing your syncopation stuff, through the Riley book, through the advanced techniques, all those things. So you're learning independence. The best way to kind of practice comping is to learn some solos from other instrumentalists, you know? So like learn Miles's solo on So What, you know? Sing it. Sing Miles's solo and then comp behind it. Sorry guys, sorry I had to endure my singing. But you get the idea, right? So you learn some solos, and that's the first one I could think of that I could sing right away. So you learn some solos, and then you think about like, man, if I'm the soloist, how would I want to be supported by the drummer? And for me right there, that's how you do it. That's like the best way to learn how to comp. If you want to learn how to comp. I really don't like that word, but yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Okay. We got the nylon tips instead of wood. Yes, please, cymbal. Should I copy and paste my question about the cymbal? Yeah, Marcus. Let's see. Never thought. Okay. Let's see. So I'm trying to remember your question. It was you're used to B8 cymbals and you were looking for something that kind of fits in more with jazz music. in particular, if I remember correctly. So this is Marcus's question. He goes by the Jazz Hole on here. And so the question was about finding cymbals that kind of fit better with jazz. It depends. Really, it's a lot of budget, right? So you can spend anywhere from, I don't know, probably around $250 all the way up to $2,500 on one cymbal to get that sound. So if your budget, and this is all American dollars, I know you guys are in Europe, so personally for me, what I like to do is I like to search used websites, like going to the drumforum.org. That's a great place to look for cymbals. That, you know, there's a lot of great cymbals that are on there that people are selling all the time. In fact, I just saw it today. There's a guy selling a 20-inch K Constantinople medium thin low for $375. That's shipped in the United States. I don't know if that'll make it out there, but drumforum.org, check that out. Buy used, I think. You know, used cymbals, they, as long as they're not cracked or keyholed too bad, and you know they're in pretty decent condition, then you'll get a lot of life out of it, and it'll be a lot less expensive. If you want to buy new, then the Sabian Artisans, the Sabian, Sabian Artisans are the ones that I like the most from Sabian. Then Zildjian, pretty much all the Constantinople lines, just find one that fits right for you. Check them out. If you don't have access to that stuff, go listen on Memphis Drum Shop, you know, mycymbal.com. That's a great place to kind of look for stuff. And just kind of, if you want to buy a new cymbal, you can buy that exact cymbal. That's their whole thing, right? So that's a good place to look for things. I'm probably missing a whole bunch of stuff. In terms of like size, I would probably go for get yourself a really nice 20 and you know, start there and then build it to a 22 if you want. But just let your ears start playing the role and play a bunch of cymbals that you like. Weight range for the 20-inch cymbals, usually 2,000 grams or less is where I'd like to be for 20-inch cymbals. Weight, it doesn't always matter, like when you're getting into like really particular gram weights. It does matter, like if you bought a 3,000 gram 20-inch cymbal, it's going to sound really high-pitched and anvil-y, right? But if you buy a 2,000 gram 20-inch cymbal, you know that you're kind of in the butter zone. Zildjian has been making them a little bit heavier lately. Like their 20-inch cymbals are usually a little above 2,000 grams. They used to be pretty light, like in the 1,700 grams, but I don't know. They kind of changed it up a little bit. So those are definitely things to consider. So I would say start with a nice 20. Do some research. Do some checking stuff out and see what you can find. So. Yeah, I feel the night and day difference. I can hear it. Thanks. You got it, guys. Those sound good. Thank you. Tim, this is from Ralph. Hey, are there such things as typical jazz ride characteristics sound-wise, or is it just a matter of taste? I believe it's just a matter of taste. You know, I think, generally speaking, jazz cymbals tend to be darker, but you can listen to people like Joe Farnsworth. He uses A's. You know, a lot of A's. He's not using really dark cymbals. Buddy Rich used like ping rides. Same thing with Louis Bellson. So I would consider them jazz drummers. So, you know, there isn't really a sound. It's what you're trying to. You know, you have to think that like a lot of your time feel is getting transmitted to the band through your ride cymbal. So if your ride cymbal is clear and it's giving you the sound and the definition that you want, but it also has this musical undertone. That's why the jazz cymbals kind of have more undertones, right? They have like these like nice little washes and these waves that just kind of sit inside the music, right? So it's the ping rides and those rides. The Buddy Rich and the big band drummers, they used to like those because they sat above the music a little bit and they would cut through the band and the band would be able to hear them better. So again, it is kind of preference. My tastes have changed considerably over the years. The cymbals that I used when I was 20, I have one of them still, but I don't hear them anymore. Even cymbals I used 10 years ago, I like them, but you know, we kind of go through phases. If I don't know, I'm the kind of guy that just needs to have variety in cymbals. So hopefully that kind of answers the question for you a little bit. Good to mushy. Notice that with maple sticks, like the warm sound probably changes when in group setting. Yeah, again, it's just more about clarity for me. Nylon tips, yep, I just love it. It's why? There we go. Huh. Very strange. Anyway, sorry about that. Every once in a while this thing drops out, so I don't know what's going on. All right, so getting back to it. Never thought of nylon tips. Raiden, hey Tim, what is the right way to comp a soloist? I'm new to drumming and trying to understand. What do? Do you fill in the blanks when the soloist is not playing? Sorry for the noob question. Raiden, no noob questions. That is a wonderful question, and it is a lifelong journey. And, uh-oh, I just lost the chat. Got it back. All right, it's a lifelong journey, and there's no right answers. Man. Learn soloists. Learn how people are playing. You can fill in the blanks. You can play with them, but generally speaking, know the tune, know the song form of the tune, know the melody of the tune, be able to sing it, be able to do all that stuff. That's gonna inform your decision to be able to comp. And when you are comping, like the way that you want to learn how to comp, you don't want to force it. You know, you don't learn like the first thing from the Art of Bob Drumming, this thing. You don't learn that and then just be like, okay, man, I'm playing that tonight. You know, like it's yeah, you gotta kind of know what you're doing here. So like. Even that's probably too busy for a lot of things, you know. So I don't really, you know, comping is something when you're practicing, you're never practicing comping necessarily. You're practicing out of a book especially. You're practicing your independence and interdependence, learning how things kind of work together and sound together so that you can have the ability, the bandwidth to be able to comp for people when the time comes. And so unfortunately there's no right answer and there's no wrong answer to this stuff. I guess there is a wrong answer. The wrong answer is if you're doing it for a self-serving purpose, then that's not the right answer. If you're doing it to show off chops, that's the wrong answer. If you're comping just for yourself, then it's the wrong answer. Remember, comping is just like having a conversation with somebody. I know this is a one-sided conversation, but if we're in the same room and I'm talking and saying something like what I'm talking about, you guys are going, mm-hmm, okay. That mm-hmm, okay is comping, right? So sometimes, you know, you might say something and all of a sudden you guys say the same word, like it's a sandwich. What? So I don't know. You just say the same word. That's how you comp. It's exactly the same as that. So my dog is barking. All right. That's such a tough question to answer, but hey, Luke, how's it going? Thanks, buddy. I know I like these cymbals a lot too. Kyle, I may have missed this. As far as playing with nylon versus wood, can you feel a bounce difference? What do you prefer for swing beats? I don't feel a difference necessarily in the tip of the stick. I've never really thought about that. Most of my dog. It's all comes from the fulcrum, like any sort of bounce difference and all that. So as long as you have a good fulcrum and the weight of the drumstick, like I don't like back-weighted drumsticks. I like more front or evenly balanced drumsticks. That's where I feel like you're going to have the bounce difference because it's not necessarily going to come off the tip for me at least. That's what I've noticed. Julian, been playing for 1.5 years. Yes, 2-bass hit was the first transcription I played. What is the second transcription I should learn? Wow, that's a great one for that's a great first transcription. Julian, I would say whatever you love to listen to and what you want to play. If you want to do another Philly transcription, I always recommend Locomotion from Blue Train, but there's also Potluck from Wynton Kelly's album Kelly at Midnight. That's a great one. If you want to do Philly Joe transcriptions. If you want to do a Max Roach transcription, I really like Sandu. It's a fairly easy transcription to do. It's a great one to get your feet wet with it. Aside from that, Jordu's great, as well as Jackie. Jackie is a wonderful one as well. So yeah, those are good Max ones. And then there's a Roy Haynes one that Roy played on Monk Mysterioso, Thelonious Monk Mysterioso. The album's Mysterioso, and the tune is In Walked Bud. His solo on In Walked Bud is incredible. So I think there's some great solos there for you. Also, if you wanted to, Tony Williams' solo on Seven Steps to Heaven. I mean, you should do all of these. So any of those would be a great next transcription, because I feel like they're pretty much interchangeable in terms of difficulty. So, Pietro, hi Tim. How about a video demonstration of all your cymbals? Love your work. We don't have time for that. You know, it's funny. I'm a Sabian endorser, and so like most of the cymbals that I play in public are Sabian cymbals. I have been playing these older vintage cymbals because I haven't played any gigs in public lately. So I probably this is the Sabian cymbal that I use. So that's I mean these artisan cymbals are pretty killing. I'll stand up to just about anything there is. So. Pan, yes, the 22 sound is not under control. It isn't. It requires a little bit of work, though. It definitely requires some of this stuff. Dr. Ummer, yes, I will get to that. Commander Alpaca, what books do you recommend for jazz drums? Syncopation and The Art of Bop Drumming is great, as well as Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer. Yeah, you did, Luke. Wow, you got the questions today. Okay. You get an okay, never let go of it. Yep. What do you say to the Zildjian Constantinople ride series? I have a 22 high thin ride, but I still can't find the right sound. Those sound great. You know, sometimes it just goes through. It just goes through. You know, you go through ear changes and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean. Definitely. Let me see. There was a really good question here from James. Have you ever been criticized for volume? How do you harness energy to be able to play quiet when still being able to cut loose? Yeah, dude. Like I think if you're a drummer, you just automatically get criticized for volume. It doesn't matter how quiet or loud you're playing. A quick story. I was playing a gig, and it was a background gig once at a golf club, right? And so the band's playing. And I'm playing brushes, and I'm playing really quiet. And the event people come up and say, "Hey, you guys you're too loud. Can you play quieter?" Specifically to me. And I'm like sitting there going like, "You can't even hear me. Like you're talking over me. Like how is this too loud?" And so I stopped and I mimicked playing. And then because I was mimicking playing, then after that they said, "Sounds great." So, like, what are you going to do? I mean, shoot, it sounds great. Man, that's crazy. Marcus, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. That's so nice. So, yes, one of the things that I try and do is whenever I'm practicing, I do try and play as quiet and practice as quiet as I can. I like to play. I like to hit the drums. You look at, in certain musical contexts, you're allowed to let loose and get some sound out of the drums. But at the same time, I think the best sound from the drums comes from playing kind of medium to light volumes. So yeah, I just practice quiet. That's the best way. So just sit down. There's a drummer on Instagram that's somewhat local but lives in Colorado. His name's Casey Schmidt. He actually puts a decibel meter in front of his drums to just check and see how loud he's playing. So you could do that if you wanted. I don't really subscribe to that, but it's kind of interesting every once in a while just to see like trying to keep it below 90 or something like that. I don't recommend like changing your grip or technique for playing quiet. I just recommend practicing quiet because that's some of the hardest things that you can do. All right. Again, okay. Yes, maybe playing tends to be a little rushy. My playing tends to be the quarter notes are in place. All the microphones sound like what I want to nervously finish my parts. Micro timing sounds like I want to nervously finish my parts early. Is there any exercise to play time more calmly? I would say this is KW baby. I would say definitely remember to breathe, and then just practice stickings. You know, just usually if you're playing 16th note sort of stuff, just practice the sticking. So like right, left, left, right, left, left, like. Just getting used to the difference between accented notes and unaccented notes. Playing things like I don't know, going into the Wilcoxon and just really playing every note very slow and methodical. That'll help with that as well. So, is that a Roundbadge kit? Yes, it is. The snare drum is a Cravioto. This is a Roundbadge kit from the 1950s, actually. The floor tom is. This floor tom is 6-ply, this is 3-ply, and the bass drum is actually from 2019. It's a broadcaster. So, let's see. You got it, Marcus. All right, where can I buy Regal Tip nylon sticks? You know what? I don't know about Regal Tip anymore. I don't know. You got it, guys. Way to practice drums, especially jazz. My way to practice drums. Actually, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Did you already talk about the left-handed ride already? Yes, I did. This is music by Doc. The left-hand ride, this one over here, is a 20-inch Old K new stamp with 7 rivets. Darren M., do you still work on rudiments every day? If so, what rudiments? Yes, every single day. What I work on is I play the rudiment ritual, which... Dr. Elmer, here we go. This is exactly what we're talking about. All right, hold on a second. Let's see what we're doing here. All right, so we're going to talk about the rudiments and people. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's talk about this. So what I'm going to talk about is a really quick and simple way to practice this. This is the book, The Drummer's Complete Vocabulary, as taught by Alan Dawson by John Ramsey. And what I like to do, I like to teach all my students how to play the rudiment ritual out of this book. So, Darren, this should answer your question. What I do, I don't necessarily practice every single rudiment every single day. I run through the rudiment ritual, and to be honest, I really only run through about the paradiddle diddles in this. I don't go the whole way. And that's because it takes too long. I think it's important to practice these things and get this thing to happen. So the way that this is broken down is, if you have this book, if you don't have this book, go get it. Yeah, yes, the Cravioto. Yeah, this is a Cravioto from 2004. It's a bird's eye maple, and it's kind of my baby, so I love it. I haven't been able to, I usually keep it in a gig bag, but again, haven't been playing gigs, so might as well practice on it. Okay, back to it. So with the rudiment ritual is broken down into a series of rudiments. So the first part of the rudiment ritual, it starts on page 11 in this book, and the rudiment ritual goes from the 3-stroke rough all the way through the single stroke roll. And the way also that he has it broken out is the same rudiments in the same exact order start on page 1. And so what I like to do is I like to assign 3 to 6 rudiments a week. There's 3 rudiments per lesson, right? So lesson 1 is the 3-stroke rough, the single drag, and then the double drag. And so what I'll do is I'll assign those 3 to my students, and then I'll have them play them slow to fast to slow. So. Left hand. And so once my student performs that for me and I feel like they're proficient, they sound good, then that goes for the first 3 rudiments. So that would be for the 3-stroke rough, the single drag, and then the double drag. And so once they can play all of those proficiently, then I say, okay, let's learn that into the rudiment ritual. Let's put that into the rudiment ritual. So now we'll skip to page 11. So when we get to page 11, we'll learn how it fits with the rudiment ritual. And if you're unfamiliar with the rudiment ritual, what it is it's a way that you can play rudiments slow to fast, or play every rudiment every single day, right? So if you're playing a rudiment, let's say these single drags, Ellen Dawson has it over the bossa nova bass drum and a hi-hat. So that would sound like this. It's 4 bars of right hands, then 4 bars of left hands. So. And so what we'll do is we'll practice that over and over again. What I like to do is say put a timer on for 5 minutes for when you're practicing, even just going slow to fast to slow, any of these rudiments. Put a timer on for 5 minutes and practice it slow to fast to slow as many times as you can within those 5 minutes. Then with this, you put a timer on for 5 minutes and you do that first line. And you just try and memorize it. I mean, it's only 8 measures that are basically just quarter notes. 4 bars right hands, 4 bars left hands. So you just learn it like that, and then you go on to the next rudiment. So the next rudiment is the single drag tap. So I'm going to play that in the rudiment ritual for you. Right? So that one always gets tricky for people. And the way that I like to say that you learn it is you try and learn by counting out loud, right? So you want to count out loud and count the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And you know what, I'm going to put my pad on so that you can hear me count well. And I'll try and play without being too loud. So I'll count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So that's how you learn that. You do that over and over and over for 5 minutes. Hopefully you have it memorized by then. And then you start adding the first line and the second line together. You practice those all at the same time, and you end up with how this works. Right? So you just build it, set goals for yourself. Say, this week I'm going to learn these three rudiments, and then next week I'm going to put those 3 rudiments into the rudiment ritual. When you're practicing, sorry, let me go back for a second. When you're practicing now the rudiment ritual rudiments, that's when you go on to the next lesson. So the next lesson is all the rudiment cues, single, double, triple. So you practice the single. You know, you practice your single, double, and triple rudiment cues by themselves, slow to fast to slow. And then the next week you incorporate those into the rudiment ritual the exact same way, where you practice them for 5 minutes per line, and you try and add it, and you eventually are adding to the rudiment ritual. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little convoluted, but that's how I go about learning, or teaching this and learning it. Again, I am available for Zoom drum lessons if you want to dive further into this. It really does help. It's kind of hard to just talk about this without you being there, because you'll understand it. It takes a little bit, but once you understand this method, then it really kind of it sinks in, and then you'll be able to memorize this really easily. So that is how I use the rudiment ritual. All right. Okay, my way to practice drums, especially jazz drumming. Yeah, okay, that was actually further back. Okay. Pan, thank you so much. I do appreciate you being here. And yeah, I know it's late for Europe. Train mainly your weaker hand, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to have a weaker hand by doing everything that I can do with my left hand with my right hand, but that doesn't always work. So thank you, sir. I do appreciate, or Pan, I do appreciate you and appreciate you watching. So, yeah, let's go back to the Cravioto. Have you had any experience with dream cymbals? Yes, I have. And, you know, when they first came out, I thought they were really great price-wise and everything. I think they probably still are. You know, you kind of get what you pay for. You can find some good ones out there, but, you know, they're... I have my preferences. Do you do much with hi-hat splashes in your playing, James? I try not to. I find that hi-hat splashes can be a little automatic. You know, it's one of those automatic things that people do, especially in ballads. So I try and make everything that I play to be very intentional. And if I hear a hi-hat splash, then I'll play it. If I don't, then then I won't play it. If I notice myself playing a hi-hat splash, then when I didn't mean to, then I realize, uh-oh, what's happening here? Why am I on automatic pilot? I wanna, you know, not do that. So one of the things that I do is I just try and be in tune with everything that I'm playing at all times. And so hi-hat splashes, as long as they're right musically, then that's what I want to do. As long as it's what I intend to do musically, then yes, I'll put a hi-hat splash in there. I think I put a few in what I was playing earlier. I was trying to play like Fee Fi Fo Fum, I think, by Wayne Shorter, and kind of channeling my Elvin. So I put a little bit of that. I just wanted a bigger, whoosh, saucier sound going out of my playing. So that's what I tried to do. And so yeah, that's why I played some splashes there. Anybody have any more questions or anything else going on? Anybody want to talk about, like, I don't know. I like playing the drums. I do appreciate all you guys being here. It's really neat. I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, that's so cool. What a small world. Yeah. I don't know if I have much else to say. Yeah, my Elvin all the day. Yes, love channeling Elvin. Oh, okay, there we go. I have a 20-inch Sabian Big and Ugly Phoenix. Beautiful. Beautiful, big and ugly, beautiful. Yeah, those are, the Phoenix rides are great. There's another one. I think they discontinued those, actually, though. What else? I don't know. I don't know what other recommendations I would have for ride cymbals. It really just comes down to, you know, buying stuff and seeing what your ears tell you to do, right? My ears, when I got this thing, I was like, well, I don't ever have to buy another ride cymbal. So, yeah. Ronald White, have I played the Sonar Vintage Kit? I have not. Wait. Yes, I have. They're beautiful. Dr. Armour, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. That is so cool. I hope, did I answer your question for the rudiment ritual? I hope that helps. So, let's see. Yeah, so, anyway, going back to the vintage kit, great, awesome. The vintage kit is really cool. The Sonar vintage kits, they're just beautiful. I also like the SQ2s are awesome as well, but I can't help it. I've got Gretsch fever, so just have to do it. What other styles do you work on, or are you developing? I work on as much as I need to work on. To be honest, right now, I was just kind of working on, earlier today, I got a challenge that I'm going to put out for you guys once I can play it. I can't do it yet. But earlier today, I was working on just kind of playing some straight eighth 5/4. How do you get patina on cymbals? P, lol. No, don't pee on your cymbals. Come on, guys. I shouldn't have to tell you this. Man. All right. I was working on playing 5/4. You know, I'm not very good at it, so it's just something that I was working on. I should have tried it. I was just in the other stages of learning it, the very basic stages of kind of just trying to feel it and count it and really get it in my head. Because I don't often play that stuff, and I would like to have a little bit more of that in there. I like to work on some of the funk things from like David Garibaldi, just going back to the future sounds and hearing that. Latin styles, I like playing a lot of Brazilian music and mambo and things like that. And then I also just like working on my hands. I like to just get my hands and my feet doing things. So like playing rudiments between my hands and my feet is stuff that I like to do. So yeah, that was terrible. Why did I play that? All right, cymbal and gong holy grail stuff is great, even though I'm a Sabian guy as well. Ha! Yes, music by Duck. I have. I actually was very fortunate. Tim Enos from Cymbal and Gong came by and he gave me a set of his cymbals, and I actually here. Give me a second. Here, hold on. Right like this. I actually love this thing. As far as this is the. What's great about these is that these are slightly undersized as well. This is about a little less than a 20, and this is a Cymbal and Gong Holy Grail, and it's gorgeous. Check this out. So yeah, that's a holy grail. That's a really nice cymbal. I like that one. I have a couple other. I have some hi-hats and a bigger one, but they're not readily available. Let's see. I'm kind of spamming question after question. Hey, Raiden, no worries at all. Is the Ludwig breakbeat as good as a beginner kit? My teacher says that it is a blues rock sound, not good for jazz, if you know what I mean. Well, you know, I don't have much personal experience with it. I don't think it matters. It's a small kit, right? You're still pretty new to everything, and you're on a very restricted budget too. So I see that. If I were on a very restricted budget, I would look for, personally, I like the Catalina Club. I think that's great from Gretsch. The Ludwig, I think, are you looking, I would always look used. If you're in the States, check Craigslist, or even if you're not, I think that it's all over the world. But check used. Always try and, if I were buying a jazz bop kit, and I hate the word bop kit, I hate the labels that people put on these things, but if I were buying a brand new one, I recommend the Catalina Club. I also recommend, if you can spend a little bit more, the Gretsch Renown drum sets. I think the Gretsch Renown is the best drum set you can buy for the money. The Catalina Clubs are good. They have some hardware issues. Other than that, look for an 18-12-14. 18-inch bass drum, 12-inch high tom, 14-inch floor tom, and then get a snare. If you already have a snare, that's great. Don't buy it with the snare then. If you need a snare, then just get the snare that comes with it. And eventually try and find like an Acrolite or something like that. There you go, a PDP New Yorker. Those are great kits. I think, isn't that the Daru Jones one? Saying that a kit is a jazz kit or a rock kit is weird. I toured playing rock stadiums, and many people don't know this, but I was played in a rock band called Spiraling, and we opened for They Might Be Giants. And the kit that I used in large, college auditoriums with, basketball arenas and stuff like that, it was an 18-12-14 with a Ludwig Black Beauty snare. So it worked. Saying that something is blues or rock, heads will fix all of that. Tuning will fix all of that. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're able to practice on it and you're happy with the sound and you love the way it looks and you're just in love with your kit. That's really all that matters. Stay away from labels. I hate the labels that the drum industry has put on gear. So hopefully that'll steer you in the right direction. But just stay away from labels. Don't worry about blues or rock. You want a jazz sound, put single-ply coated heads on the drums, including your bass drum, and then you will get a decent sound on a decent sounding jazz kit, if you will. So, yeah. Do you have a few variations on mambo, Marcus? Yes, I'll probably save that for another lesson, though. I'm going to have to get, yeah, see, music by Doc, same thing. You make a breakbeat sound. Jeez, I guess I'm back. Okay. Sorry, that was, I don't know what's going on with this. Every once in a while, it just goes away. So, Marcus, I don't know if I got your question. But yeah, I'll do another thing on that. Music by Doc, thank you for chiming in on that. Jackson, yes, on occasion, not very often, but I like it for developing independence and technique and all that stuff. So yeah, the joint pairs really well with that artisan. Thank you. I like it as well. What would you recommend for a student who's very restricted budget? I think we went over that. PDP New Yorker, SQ1, great. Yeah, I think that's probably still outside the budget. Do you play match script as well as traditional? Yes. Jaron, yes, I do. And would you think it's useful for a match script player like me to take on traditional as well? That's a great question. I don't know. How long have you been playing matched? If you've been playing matched for your entire life and you're very good at playing matched, then I would say stick with matched. I like to say to my students that want to try traditional, it's like, yeah, we can absolutely try it, but keep in mind that you spent all this time developing matched. So, you know, you're taking a big step backwards when you try and get over to traditional. I talked to Dave Weckel about it a little bit in a lesson once, and he basically said that, you know, he plays matched, he also plays traditional. He sticks mostly with traditional these days because that's what he feels most comfortable with. That is the question. Which one are you the most comfortable with? And that's how you kind of that's what should tell you your answer. Don't play matched because don't play traditional just because it looks cool or any of that stuff. Just do it because it's something you want to do. And a lot of people play traditional, you know, because the traditional is how their marching band is. I play traditional because my first teacher taught me traditional when I was 6. So it kind of stuck. That's just where I'm at. So anyway, I better run. It's been about an hour. Do you guys have any other questions or anything else going on? If so, now's the time. Otherwise, it has been an absolute pleasure spending this time with you guys. I really look forward to doing these. And you know what? I've gotten some really great messages from some of you guys, like Marcus and some of the other ones just privately on Instagram, and people just saying how much they enjoy these. And you know what? It's messages like that just make this worthwhile and just so much fun for me, because just to know that I'm helping somebody out there. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for all your support. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I'll probably be back on a Wednesday because I feel like that's probably the better time to do it. And ended up traditional after getting frustrated trying to fix my match problems. Weird, but started over really helped me. See, there you go. I mean, that might be the answer, right? So sometimes, you know, read the comments. You guys have some great comments and great questions and everything. You know, there's some really great information in there too. So, yeah, sometimes that's how you do it. If you're getting frustrated with one thing, it just depends. So that's a tough one without which one is right. You know, like it doesn't matter. It's whatever one you're able to express yourself musically with. So anyway, I'll be back on Wednesday. And probably regular time, 2 o'clock, I think, or 2:30, I'm not sure, probably 2. And no, 2:15. 2:15, I forgot, because now I have a student. Anyway, trying to block out time for this. It's crazy. You guys make it so worthwhile. I thank you so much for being here, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week. So, all right, take care.